Peter Andreasson, I'm very glad to be here. The empty glass. Oh, there comes something. Thank you. I'm very glad to be here, and I shall tell you some about our experience with implementing SBP in Latvia, or Letonia, you say in Spanish. I am a forester, and in the same time I'm also a biologist in the nature conservation area. So that is a nice mix, and I've been engaged in Latvia through this Latgram 2 years ago, very near. And when this SBP started up, I was engaged by Latgram to assist them in order to get certification. And then, of course, you may wonder why I am still in assisting them in this. Maybe I'm the really bad guy to assist them. But as previous Peter said, there have been changes in the standard during these 2 years, and we have actually been doing the initial test audit of the first very draft standard in March last year, and we did a pilot audit in October last year as well. And so we have been working in parallel to the standard development. Latvia, quite a small country, but rich of forest. Half of the country is covered by forest, mostly pine, spruce, and birch. And as you can see here, more than 50% of the forests have a FSC or PFC forest certificate, and the rest, some 45%, are FSC controlled wood. It means every single fiber in Latvia is at minimum FSC controlled wood. And I guess that is the reason why the senior management in Latgram thought it should be quite an easy journey with the SBP 2 years ago, but as I shall show you, it was not so easy. Pellets is a big business in Latvia. Very soon it will be approximately 1.5 million ton going for export to the European market. And it is mostly industrial pellets. And Latgram, just very short, have 4 plants making more than 500,000 ton of industrial pellets. Latgram is only doing industrial pellets. And as you can see, we have one plant very close to the border of Belarus, which maybe makes some problem. But in Belarus, most of the forests are PEFC certified. So that is actually not the big issue. So when SBP decided that the organization NEPCON should make risk assessment for all 3 Baltic countries, they came out with a draft risk assessment for Latvia in January this year. no, February it was. But anyhow, it was 6 specified risks. And with this terminology, it means that if you have a specified risk, you must do some kind of mitigation measure in order to make it a low risk. So that is the task for the biomass producer to change from specified risk into low risk. But first, there is, from these 6 specified risks, there was a very interesting part of the process, meaning that the NEPCON invited all stakeholders, green NGOs, labor organizations, biomass producers, and other some state organization as well, to have a discussion about those 6 risks. And of course, everybody then gathered together and have discussions and argumentation for this or that. And finally, NEPCON changed 3 of those 6 specified risks into low risks. But those one you see in red text, they are still, after this public consultation, they are still specified risks. So those 3 risks we all pellet producers in Latvia has to deal with and try to make them low. And if you can read this 211, the first red one, that is a really tricky one. It tells you about that forest with high conservation values, what we also call woodland key habitats. Areas with high conservation values, normally, in general, they are quite small. It can be half a hectare or 1, 2, 3 hectares. But with specific things, and you can find red listed species there, for example. In most countries in Europe, national inventories have been done, but not in Latvia. So how can a biomass producer have control system and procedures for verifying that forests with these high conservation values are identified and mapped? That is quite a challenge, I would say. But and of course we run to the state and ask, how is it in Latvia? When are you going to do it? We got the answer that no, yeah, it is an EU habitat directive. This inventory, habitat inventory, it is mandatory and it must be done within 3 years. Yeah, but most of the pellet producers would like to survive during these 3 years. So we have to find some other solutions than wait for the state inventory. So in order to get the possibility to reassess this first indicator about woodland key habitat, this 211, we gather all pellet producers in Latvia. And that is also quite interesting, that we managed to collect everybody, and we told them that we have to do this work ourselves, together, as a industrial sector. We have to identify and map those woodland key habitats. And because it is also like, if I go back, I shall, if you look at the second red one, there it is about, if the first one is about identify and map, the second one is to make sure that you are not doing any harmful things inside these woodland key habitats. So if you don't know where they are, then you definitely will fail on the second indicator. So we find out we have to do this ourselves, and together with all other already. Okay, we created a woodland key habitat tool. We had we invested 100,000 euro, and one institute in Latvia did the work, and the outcome from this inventory, which has been discussed and get approval from the green NGOs in Latvia, it ends up in 7 or actually 8% risk areas where we are not allowed to we shall not use fiber from that for the SBP compliant biomass. Yeah, it looks like this. And these final results have also been validated by licensed experts. So that was a good solution for the first specified risk. But then it is up to solve the other one. It is up to each biomass producer, of course, to find his mitigation measure functioning for him and his suppliers. But at least we have the base, the fundament for doing that. Today, no one in Latvia have been certified, and Latgram have ambition to be the first in the world, at least in the European part of the world, to be certified with the SBP, and through this supply-based evaluation, which are the process where you change the specified risk into low risks. And finally, I would say some few words about our reflections, our experience so far. And it is a new framework. Even though it is 2 years, it is new, and everyone who knows something about developing standards where you have hundreds of pieces of puzzle and must be connected, and they must be without gaps and without contradictions. It is, you don't do it in 2 years. So there are still some few things to can be a little better. And SBP standard is, of course, a very much a forestry standard. And that is the real problem. A biomass producer is in the end of the chain, and the forest in other part of the world. And for the BP to have impact and influence on the forest activities, it's not that easy. And that is how it is, but that is really, really a challenge with big letters. And especially when it comes to this third state here, that the primary feedstock and secondary feedstock are equal. Primary feedstock, roundwood, it is of course much more easy for a biomass producer to maintain, because we can just say stop, we don't take it. But when it comes to sawdust from sawmill, have they taken, are there some woods or some fiber coming from risk areas? How shall a BP through the sawmills out to the logging companies, how to do? That is really, really, that is even a bigger challenge. And of course I understand that also the sawdust must come from sustainable source. But maybe FSC controlled wood should have been enough, because we can also think that if we are not using the sawdust, what will happen? Two things. The pile of sawdust in the sawmill will grow bigger and bigger and bigger, of course. If nobody buying the sawdust, it will grow. And the second thing, that those biomass producers who anyway want and need to sell, for example, to UK and Denmark, they of course have to change from sawdust, using sawdust in the production, to using primary feedstock, roundwood. And is that a good thing, that we have the structure of the framework moving the sourcing from the waste, a sawmill waste, to the roundwood? But that is a consequence of this framework. Muchas gracias.